a very special guest. We have another member, an ex-member of Deji's team. We have Tommy's brother, George. How are you, George?
Yeah, all good, thank you, mate. All good.
Yeah, so George, let's just get straight into it, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So in the last podcast, Tommy was talking about his first time meeting Deji. He said, "Oh, I didn't really know who he was. So the first thing I did was call up George, and you were going crazy. What were you thinking when he called you up? Did you think he was like lying to you?"
Nah, to be fair, I knew he wasn't lying because Tommy doesn't have a clue about any YouTubers or anything like that. It's not his generation to know anything like that. So yeah, he didn't have a clue. But when I got the phone call, I was in a bit of disbelief because I thought he was London way with his brother and whatnot, but obviously not. He's moved up this way, and yeah.
So what were you thinking once you found out that your brother was training a UK celebrity, a phenomenon, you could say?
Not a lot, because I ended up obviously being part of the team. So how it came about for me coming part of the team, I was just at Vic's boxing gym, obviously, one day, and then Deji rocked up, and I was just about to finish my session, and then Vic turned around and Tommy turned around and said, "Right, George, Deji, get in the ring, you're having a spar." And we ended up sparring for about, I think it was 2-3 rounds. I think it was 3 rounds. And then from there, I was just part of the team for the Jake Paul fight.
So can you tell us about the spar? How was it?
I was surprised, if I'm honest with you. His fitness wasn't there. His boxing technique, like boxing wise, you could see that there was a lot of room for improvement, but he was listening and he punched very hard. Deji, that's one thing you got to give to Deji. He bangs. He does hit hard. He has a big right hand. And every punch that he landed on my nose, I felt. And that says a lot because my nose, I haven't got a lot of bone there where it's been punched out of me over the years.
Before the sparring session, did you expect him to bag potatoes? Because sessions he had with KSI and stuff, he would drop after one body shot. So were you surprised at how he performed?
You want about for the first sparring session, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was boxing or anything like that before he actually came into the gym. So I didn't know what to expect when I got in the ring with him, if I'm honest with you.
Okay. And I want to also, I asked this question to your brother also, and I want to ask you too. What went wrong in the camp? Why did Deji not come out on top?
Deji didn't go for a run. Deji, so he'd absolutely smashed the training session at the gym, and then Tommy would say, "Right, Deji, go for a run, go for at least a 5K run tonight," and he wouldn't. He needs fitness. Running is the best thing for fitness. If you know you've got millions of people watching you, spending their money to come watch you, you go for a run. But he was never motivated to run. He lives like 5 minutes away from me, and I was messaging him every day. Right, boy, let's go for a run, and he never wanted to go for a run. He never run. He used to put up Instagram stories of him on a treadmill. But that story, I can guarantee you now what happened. He videoed that story for a good 10 seconds, splashed a bit of water on his face, and then done the story and then got off the treadmill. I guarantee you that's what happened. And it showed in the fight.
Why do you think Deji had this sense of lack of motivation?
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't got a clue why. Because if you're not motivated by these hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people watching, what will motivate you? It's as simple as that. I just don't know. I don't know what it is. He had a great team around him who cared about him. And yeah, it was just I don't know what the lack of motivation was. I don't know. It certainly wasn't the money.
Online, there's a lot of critics, especially Deji fans, that were bashing his trainers, bashing you guys, saying, "Oh, his trainers were not good." Do you have any words for those people?
Come step foot in the boxing gym. Come step foot in the boxing gym. Come, and then you'll see.
If there's a fighter and he keeps breaking the track, like keeps eating fast food, keeps not putting in the work, his trainers should drop him. What do you say to the people that say that kind of stuff?
Well, I do agree. But there was a lot at stake for that fight, for the gym itself, that why you just wouldn't drop him.
In his he was at first training with KSI's coach Vidal Riley.
Yeah.
Also saw a sense of lack of motivation, and he wasn't putting in the work, so Vidal dropped him. Why didn't you guys drop him?
I'm not too sure. That weren't my place to do. That weren't my place to say.
Okay.
I was there as his training partner, not his training coach.
Oh, so you were more of a sparring partner?
I was his sparring partner. I'd done quite a few bits for him. We trained together. I wasn't his coach.
So leading up to the Jake Paul fight, there was more of an event. There was like the big press conferences, the weigh-ins, and stuff like that. I want to talk to you about when you guys rocked up to his training event, and Deji came up calling him the B word and stuff, and then Jake Paul just slapped him. What were you thinking at that time?
I went for him. Because at that time I thought we was all a band of brothers, so I went for Jake. And if you watch the video, you see me get held back by about 5 different people, and I didn't have nothing going through my head other than get to Jake, because he really pissed me off.
So how was the energy in the camp after that incident?
Brilliant. We was on a high. We was on an absolute high. So how that moment came about, we was in our own taxi, me, Vic, Tommy, and Deji. We was on the way to our training. We was on the way to our training camp, and Instagram that Jake Paul was obviously doing his open workout in front of all the media. So Deji went, "I've got an idea." So we just we was just pulling up to our training day, and we ended up our park and going the complete other way back to Hatton's gym, where we met Jake Paul's team, and that happened, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So Jake Paul wasn't only going at Deji, he was going after the whole camp. He was I think he actually called you Tubby or something.
Yeah, on the at your call at the first press conference, he said, "What up, Tubby?" And then we had a few words backstage, and then which didn't get put on camera, thank God. And then a few things happened on stage as well.
How's the altercation like backstage?
I don't think I can go into it too much, but yeah, I had a fun time. Put it that way. Me and my brother backed ourselves. Put it that way. But yeah, but none of that got put anywhere.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about the York Hall press conference. It was like straight out of a movie. Like you would see that in an action movie. You guys completely destroyed the Pauls. You got them running off the stage. How's that like? How's that press conference like in general? Like leading up to it, after?
Well, to be fair, we went through, when we arrived at the press conference, we went through the front, and we just got rushed by everyone. So I put Deji under my shoulder, and we just darted straight for backstage. And then because we did security team with us as well, but it was just so busy. There was thousands of people, and the security team couldn't even get to him. It was just me and Deji. I had to put him under my shoulder and just get backstage as soon as possible, because we wasn't expecting it like that. And then obviously the whole press conference, whatever happened was brilliant. And then after the press conference is when everything kicked off. Like, I'm sure you've seen the videos of all the bricks getting thrown off the top of buildings, all the paint cans getting thrown off the top of buildings. People were rushing our taxi, not our taxi, but rushing our car, just trying to kick the car just to get close to Deji. It was the weirdest thing, because it was like, you're trying to say you're a Deji fan, yet you're smashing the shit out of his car. And they was trying to take the wing mirrors off, anything. It was mad. It was bonkers. It was stupid. But it was good. It was a rush.
Another massive event leading up to the Jake Paul fight was the weigh-in. I saw you guys get into it with Shannon Briggs. How's that like?
That's all right. The thing is, we obviously, with Tommy and his boxing career, we know everyone. We knew everything that was going to happen. We know all the people. So everything was just fun. Everything was a laugh for us.
So was there any time that you guys thought, I want to get physical with these guys, or were you guys ever ready for a brawl just right there?
We're always ready for a brawl. What do you expect? Me and Tommy are brothers. We're ready. We're ready to go. But this is what I'm saying. This is why it's upsetting about how everything is now with Deji, because at that point we would have defended Deji because we was a band of brothers. But no, true colours are now being shown.
What do you mean by that? Is there any like?
What I mean by that is, so straight after the fight, we went back to the hotel. A few things happened after where me and Tommy, well, especially Tommy, had to defend Deji in the middle of the street, and that hasn't gone anywhere. And Deji still hasn't said thank you to Tommy for helping him out like the way he did, and I can't go into it too much. But obviously we had a little party afterwards and whatnot, and then the next day we went back to Vic's house from Manchester, and that was the last time I've seen Deji. He just doesn't bother with me anymore. I'm not too sure why. He made out that we was friends all along, and then if you're no use to him, then you'd get dropped out of his life, as he's clearly shown time and time again with people in his life. And that's why I don't think he has any friends.
Wow, those are strong words at Deji. So what would you do if Deji came out and started bashing you? What would your response?
What could he bash me with? What could he bash me with? I've never said a bad word about him. I've never lied to him. I've never given him a reason to hate me. And yeah, I ain't spoke to him in 2 years. There's you try to be friends with someone, and they at that time when they're being friendly with you, they're being friends with you. Like, we used to text, we used to call. Like, even we went to YouTube headquarters in London together. Which was Jake Paul, when they went face to face. Like, we was good friends, and you're only as much used to Deji as much as he wants to use you. Other than that, you're nothing to him, and it clearly shows. That's why he doesn't have close people around him. He stays in his room and stays home with his missus. He don't like socializing. He likes being at home on his Game Boy.
Where do you think this lack of loyalty comes from Deji?
I don't know, because if you look at his brother, JJ, KSI, he has got great people around him. He's got great friends around him. He looks after everyone, and you can see that he looks after everyone. It's mad. I can't get over how two brothers are so different.
Wow, was there any tension in the camp leading to this breakup, you could say?
What for the Jake Paul fight?
You know how you said, well, I don't really talk to Deji anymore. Was there any tension leading up to like you guys splitting apart?
No, never. There was never any tension. We was friends. And then literally the fight happened. And then he was meant to come, I think he was meant to come around mine that following weekend. I was getting married the week after that. He was coming to my wedding. Didn't come to my wedding. Just cut all ties with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys were like friends and he didn't show up to your wedding?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you react once all this was going through? Because that wasn't the only thing. Right after the fight, he came out and had a statement bashing the team because they threw in the towel.
Oh, that's bollocks. That's him trying to stay face. There's no more than him trying to stay face.
Oh, pardon, I couldn't hear you there.
That's him trying to stay face. That's him trying to protect his own back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how did you react once he was bashing you guys just to clear his name?
It wasn't him bashing, really, was it? It was his missus. But Deji knows all about what we're about, so he'd never come out and say something bad.
No, even in the first Jake Paul fight, he said, "I'm dropping my trainers," and because they threw in the towel.
I didn't hear that. I didn't know that.
Oh, really? Okay. So, how's the fight like? Was Deji like ever like? Did Deji show any like sense of wanting to give up, or what led up to the towel being thrown in?
He was just getting beaten. He was exhausted. He was in the corner, exhausted. He couldn't do no more. He gave it his best shot. The difference in him going the extra mile would have been him running in the camp, in training, and actually putting the effort in. And he could have gone those extra rounds, but he couldn't go those extra rounds.
Did Deji ever like push his hardest any time in camp, or was it more of a going just trying to?
He pushed hard in training when he was at Vic's boxing gym, when he was in front of people. He trained hard. You can't knock him for that. But it's the extra bits that goes on behind the doors that he wasn't doing, that he needed to do. And that's the difference in him beating Jake Paul in that fight and not beating Jake Paul.
Now Deji has an upcoming fight against another YouTuber, Alex Wasabi. What do you make up of that fight? Who do you imagine coming on top?
The stupid thing is, I believe in Deji if he actually goes for a fucking run. Sorry to swear, but if he starts running, he can beat Alex Wasabi because he's good technically at boxing. He's got the power behind him. He just needs to get his fitness right up, and only he can do that. Tommy gave him the fundamentals. Vic gave him the fundamentals. He had the best sparring for what level we could provide him. And he chose not to do his side of things by going for a run. And that's as simple as that.
So Deji's brother, KSI, and he has a big rivalry with Logan Paul's little brother, Jake Paul. What do you make of that fight? Who do you think is going to come on top?
Jake Paul. As much as I'd like to see Jake Paul get smashed up by JJ, Jake Paul, he's just a different breed of animal now. He's obviously training as hard as someone can train. He's moved his whole team away from LA, away from all the shenanigans that he could get up to, away from the temptations. He's putting 110% effort into what he does, and nobody can take that away from him. You can't do nothing but respect him, although he does love winding people up, and I can't do nothing but respect that because I like that.
I know you spent time with JJ leading up to the Logan fight because I've seen a few photos. What do you make up of JJ's ability as a boxer?
Yeah, good. As far as how many fights has he had now? 4 fights, is it?
KSI, I think he's had 3 fights now.
3.
Two fights and 1 pro fight.
Yeah. Well, as far as someone with 3 fights can go. He's done very well for himself, hasn't he? And he's brought a lot of attention to boxing itself in the UK, which is brilliant. So no harm, no foul there.
So would you ever have like a public sparring session against Deji if he comes out and has a ill feeling?
Well, most definitely. And Deji knows that.
Do you think you'd come out on top?
Of course I would. Of course I would.
How many rounds would you give Deji? How would it look like? Would it be a pure domination, first round knockout, or how would it look like?
We'll go with that, yeah. We'll go with a first round domination. We'll take your words from that.
First round domination. So if Deji came out and said that, you knock him out in the first round.
You're turning my words now. I'm using your words, not mine.
So, I mean, what if Deji has a whole turn in personality and he comes back to you guys and says, come on, George, I need to train with you guys. Would you allow him back into the camp?
I don't know, if I'm honest with you. I think maybe a few things, it's gone too far with a few things now, so no, I doubt it. From my personal point of view, no.
Is there anything you could say why you have that reasoning, or is it
because
all
he's let me down way too many times?
Can you elaborate?
Well, with my wedding, I'm now a streamer. I asked him for a bit of advice, a bit of help. I never got anything from him.
Wow. He's still
This is someone I spent hours with. Someone I spent absolute hours with. Hundreds of hours with. Someone who I gave a lot of time for. I gave a lot of effort for. I get nothing back. It's ridiculous. And I don't give to get back, but when you think someone's your friend and they don't help you out when you're trying to start something, it's ridiculous.
Talking to your brother Tommy, his feelings towards Deji was not as bad as yours. Where do you think the difference in interest come with you and Tommy?
What? Sorry.
Tommy, he didn't have that bad of an ill feeling against Deji, but to you, I feel like there's more tension. Why do you think that is, like, between you and Tommy?
Probably because it was more personal for me with Deji. At the end of the day, Deji and Tommy, it was coach and boxer. With me and Deji, it was friendship. That's why. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah. All right, George, man, it was a pleasure having you on. I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity. And man, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, boss. Have a good
Get
one.
on to George Martin Facebook, gaming, streaming. Let's go.
Yeah, say your social platforms one more time.
No, it's just I do streaming on Facebook now. A bit of Warzone, just for a few hours each night. But yeah, it's just George Martin with an X for the A, and that's simple as that.
All right, George. Amazing talking to you.
And you, brother. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good one.
And you. Bye.